Alright everyone, it's finally here, the most exciting anticipated game of the year, Tales of Kenzera Zao. It's in our hands. Forget Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, forget Stellar Blade, Elden Ring DLC, we finally got the real one, or that was what I was led to believe by some insane people online, but if we look at this game, it had a player peak of 287 people on Steam, 91 people playing right now. This isn't really an indie game. This was an EA published title. It got a huge presence at, I believe, a Microsoft showcase. They got to go on stage, talk about this brilliant piece of entertainment, but it seems to have launched with a bit of a whimper. Now, could this have anything to do with Sweet Baby Inc? Because that's right, this is a game that had Sweet Baby Inc consultation. They had their paws all in on that. Now, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't even think that's really the reason that this has flopped, because it has obviously flopped. I mean, we're on Steam only, we're only looking at PC numbers. I believe it released on most current platforms, the Switch and so on, but I doubt it really did much better. The real reason for me is I reckon most people looked at this game, and most people don't know about the Sweet Baby Inc controversy and all of that, not the particulars, but they took a look at this and they said, you know what, I get the feeling from the way this is being marketed, talked about, that this wasn't created with entertainment, fun in mind. It was created with an idea of sort of politics first. And the story behind the studio who made this game is, I believe, the creator of the studio, they are a person of color who worked on Assassin's Creed as a voice actor. So not really a game developer in terms of getting your hands dirty. They were a voice actor, and they wanted to make a game representative of their culture. So it was very much about the story and the vibe of the game, and they put that into practice and created this. Now, I could say that's fine, although there's always this hypocrisy where imagine that someone with white skin went out and decided to make a game and they said, I'm going to make a game about my culture. It's going to be about Irish or English or traditional white American culture, and I'm just going to make a game like that. That kind of exists, by the way, in terms of Kingdom Come Deliverance, although that is a very fun game. The history side was only part of it. And when that happens, it's all racist, you're a phobe, this is disgusting. It's almost like a piece of media like that. Oh, it's going to lead to chaos, destruction. It might even be used as a manifesto for people who are going to do really, really bad things. But when it's any other group, basically, who want to make a game just focused on their culture, it's totally fine. And I do reckon that, sure, there's people upset about the Sweet Baby Inc stuff. It's one of the reasons I won't buy it. I don't want to support a game that brings on board people who have no interest in the entertainment. They just want to lecture us, re-educate everyone. Why would you hire those clowns? You would only do it if you've got an agenda in mind that doesn't relate to making a fun video game, a fun piece of entertainment. So the Sweet Baby Inc stuff, it annoys me, but most people just have a vibe check. They look at this and go, this isn't really about fun, I'm going to play something else. And that's the end of it. It flops. This has barely any Steam reviews. We've seen the player numbers. It's just a failure. No one's playing it. Now, they won't admit that, of course. There'll be all this talk about what a success it was, and people who are maybe part of this culture, they'll love it. Whatever, you play it, you enjoy it, but I just know if it was anything to do with my culture, it would be considered a really, really bad, evil thing. So it's hard to look past. Now, that's kind of summing up why I think the game failed. It's just the vibe check. People don't know all the particulars of Sweet Baby and whatever. They're not all going to be online doing research. But it is just about looking at it and getting that gut feel. Most people's gut feel is they don't want to play. It's not fun. There's better games to play. Because this does say that it's a metroidvania style adventure. But when I did a bit of research, because if you look at the reviews from maybe people who hate Sweet Baby Inc, they're probably going to be very negative towards it without even playing it. But it's the same from the other side. People who love DEI in games, they'll say this is incredible. They'll say, oh my god, the best story ever, I've seen that. But they're compromised people. They're not looking at it objectively. So I looked at, say, Metroidvania fans who don't have a horse in the race. They don't care about the sweet baby stuff. They just want a great Metroidvania. Most of them said this is a disappointment. It's really linear. There's like 3 bosses in the whole game, maybe a 4th, but it's a mashup of previous ones. All in all, it's just a mediocre game, a 6, a 7 out of 10 by today's standards. That just isn't very good. What's the point of spending $30 on it when there's so many you could play? Metroidvanias, there's an abundance of them. So many old classics, the Castlevanias and so on. I'm going to play one of them long before I touch this. Not that I will, given it's a Sweet Baby related product. And just on that, Sweet Baby Inc., because we'll get into that side of things, because this is where it gets quite nefarious. I'll say, first of all, being on their website is just creepy. I don't think I've noticed this before, but when you move your mouse around, there's like this baby and its eyes follow you around the screen no matter what you do. And this feels like it's trying to tell me what's coming in the future, where no matter what we do, we're surveilled all the time. It's probably happening now, let's be real. But if we look at the Gaming Circle Jerk subreddit, because there's so many people who are determined that this game would be a success, they'll always try and claim that anyone bringing up Sweet Baby, the detected group that kind of exposed this game as being another Sweet Baby one, these people say, oh, you're just an insane basement dweller, quiet minority. Everyone loves games like this and they can't wait to spend money on it. But again, we can actually look at the facts. 91 people playing right now. These same people who talk about, oh, we're going to support this, we're going to show the racists and put our money where their mouth is. It turns out that their wallets are empty. They don't spend any money on this. They'll complain, they'll be the loudest, they'll talk about it, but they'll never put their money where their mouth is. They will never support and play these games. If anything, it's the opposite. Hogwarts Legacy, I've talked about it a few times. It ends up being massively successful despite the boycott, proving that it is these insane individuals who are the quiet minority. In general society, they see these people as very special, people to stay away from. And if we have a look at what they're talking about here, they're attacking Mark Kern, who had some thoughts on all of this, on the Tales of Kenzera, whatever it is. I keep thinking it's that Tales JRPG series, Tales of Vesperia or whatever. Maybe they named it that for marketing reasons to try and sneak in some sales there, but whatever. So Mark Kern was saying here that someone accused him and critics of the game as just purely being racist. This is always a common one whenever it's, say, the Ghostbusters or Ocean's 11 with only women in it. If you criticize it, you're a phobe, you're a sexist, a racist, whatever it might be. It's an always very easy criticism for them to come up with, because that way they don't have to actually back up the quality of the content that they created. They don't have to defend that. They can just insult the people who are calling it out. So basically saying anyone who criticized Zayo, this game, they're a racist. But apparently, the studio creator who I mentioned was the voice actor for an Assassin's Creed game. He's actually an SBI insider, Sweet Baby insider. The real reason that Zayo worked with Sweet Baby Inc. is because the studio founder of this game and the founders of Sweet Baby Inc., Kim Belair and other people, they've actually worked together before. So there's an existing relationship there. It's not like this team, they just went out and hired Sweet Baby Inc. for the sake of it, maybe to get some DEI money or whatever it might have been. There was actually that prior relationship, they're probably friends, and they obviously believe in all the same things. That's what it sounds like, otherwise they wouldn't have created another company, which apparently translates to being called Secret Baby. I think I've seen this before, where there was a lot of companies that included baby in the title, and they're all kind of like Sweet Baby. It's kind of creepy. But if there was any game that you would say this is a Sweet Baby Inc. product, this would be it. Those tired excuses of, oh no, Sweet Baby might have just came in and maybe done half an hour's consulting, had a bit of a chat, and then they left, that was it. It didn't affect the game. I don't think you can use that excuse for this one. These people are all friends. Sweet Baby stamp is all over Zayo, and it's failed, and this doesn't look too good for them. Now, of course, if we have a look at what the Gaming Circle Jerk have to say, so what I see here, it's a very common argument that gets used, where they'll say that maybe people like me will go out there and say, why are the woke crowd ruining existing IPs and inserting themselves into it, like with Lord of the Rings, maybe Tomb Raider, plenty of other IPs that are out there. Pretty much everything these days. They have to sort of take and twist an existing IP because they can't create their own and make that successful. They have to taint something that has been proven to be successful in the past instead, and they'll inject the DEI stuff into all of that. But what they're trying to claim here is that even when they create their own, we still get upset and we still get offended. The reason this just does not work at all is in their ideal world, this is how it would look if we paint a picture. They ruin all of the existing IPs and they inject all the DEI stuff in there, plus they make all of their own DEI stuff as well. And that's the only way that they'll be satisfied, if they can taint absolutely everything. Anything old as well as anything new. Doesn't matter what it is. But the way they try and word the argument is to make it out that we'll just never be happy. They're not saying, okay, we'll leave the great traditional stuff alone and we'll make our own stuff. That's what he's trying to imply, but it's not true. You want to taint absolutely everything. It's not just new stuff. And the reason people are criticizing, say, this game, for instance, really it's because of the sweet baby stuff. That's the main thing. And it may also be because, look, you're making a game that's not really about the entertainment, a metroidvania. You don't really care about the gameplay, it sounds like. And the reviews prove that. The metroidvania fans who've actually gone through objectively, they say the same thing. So you can't really call people biased on that. It's not a very good game. Most people are saying it. But what we're kind of sick of is the hypocrisy here, because you're trying to imply that it's totally fine and innocent for someone to make a game purely based on their culture alone, and every cast member, every person in the game is simply of that culture. You're saying that's totally fine, but if I do it, if someone like me does that, anyone in the West, Western culture, then that is evil. It has to be stopped. You're a supremacist. All of that crap. So as usual, we're kind of just responding to you and your bullshit. But you're turning it around to make it out like we're antagonizing all of you, that you're just trying to do your own innocent thing and we're trying to stop it. We're trying to stomp on it, step on it, and push it down. We're really just trying to defend our interests because you want your cake and to eat it too. You want to create your own IPs but ruin ours at the same time. But then you pull out this straw man argument that that's not the case. You're pretending to be doing your own thing. You're happy to leave the traditional IPs alone. It's simply not true. Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first one, you went nuts. It's a racist game. There's no way that people of color wouldn't be in this game, despite it even being based on history. This game, I imagine, is a fantasy game. It's not really based on history necessarily. It seems like there's magic, all that sort of stuff. So you could easily have people of different cultures in there, but they're not. Kingdom Come Deliverance, if you do that, you actually ruin the historical accuracy. That doesn't work, but you're still melted down about it. So you don't really care about the principle of it, of someone just being able to make something for their own culture. You twist it as usual to suit your own worldview, and people see through it. It's why this game has totally failed. We want fun, and these numbers prove that people are not going to support a game purely because it's maybe propping up one particular culture. You've got to actually make a great piece of entertainment, something fun people want to play, and this doesn't look like it. Now, there are some other pretty sneaky things going on as well. So, for instance, someone says here on Twitter, in honor of the release of Tales of Kenzera, I'll be gifting someone a Steam copy of the game to piss off a racist. Now, I imagine a lot of these people, what they consider to be racist is just criticizing the game and just going, look, this doesn't look too fun, I'm not interested. Or the same thing a lot of people have said. Apparently, it's impossible to get into a piece of media entertainment if there's not someone who doesn't look like you in it. That's what they'll say. It's impossible. But then if I was to say that, or someone who looks like me was to say that about this game, then I'm a terrible person, I'm a racist, I need to take a hard look in the mirror. Now, I don't agree with that. I really don't. I think that you can relate to a lot of these stories based on the actions, the characters, how they behave, and you sort of seeing similarities in them as a character, not specifically around how they look. But these people, a lot of these people were using that argument. So as usual, everyone wants to twist that around, and Something someone found is that there were a lot of bots defending this game. Anytime anyone criticized, whether it was Sweet Baby Inc. or this game itself, there were bots running defense. And there are so many of these. I don't really know if these are automated bots and there's a bit more going on here, or if it's specifically related to this game. And there is a bit of a push to make sure that this game is a success, that people are talking about it. Now, I've seen maybe some other YouTube videos, mainstream game reviewers who've been saying great things about this. Probably YouTubers that wouldn't make a video about a game this small, like channels with millions of subscribers. Why would you be talking about a game and making a video dedicated to a title that has 91 players at the moment and it's a brand new release? It seems like you wouldn't have made that review unless there was something else going on. Either there was payments done or you were trying to push some sort of agenda there. That seemed a little bit fishy to me, because most of these tiny indie titles, I know it's EA published, but it's still a very small title. I wouldn't think that so many people would be talking about it if it was just a run-of-the-mill game. It wasn't Sweet Baby pushed culture, all of that sort of crap. Also, stuff like this, Reset Era. So again, this would be the website I would assume would really be pushing this, and they'd be saying, we need this game to be a massive success. A lot of these same people said, we were maybe doing it about Stellar Blade. If you hate the DEI stuff, there's people who want Stellar Blade to be a success because it maybe represents the anti-DEI kind of movement. So you would think on Reset Era, Tales of Kenzera Zayo would be the big one for them. It is a Sweet Baby game, it's pushing the right messages. And if we look through, this has one page, this thread. One page. To give you some context, if I go to the general forums and I look at other threads about other games, oh, look at this. The Stellar Blade review thread, it's got 19 pages. So you'll bang on about Stellar Blade, which apparently you're never going to support, it's an evil title. But when it comes to a game that you should be supporting, that you claim to support, one page, barely any discussion, barely any players, because no one's buying it. But just to kind of clarify, this game, I don't think it failed specifically because of the Sweet Baby Inc. controversy. It's just not mainstream enough, if we're being honest. But what it is that vibe check. The average person who's out there, deep down, most of them are on the same page as us. They're sick of the DEI stuff ruining their interests, hobbies. They might not have gone too far down the rabbit hole to investigate it. They don't care. They're working. They're too busy. They're struggling maybe. They don't have time to be looking into this crap. But they just look at this and go, this isn't something that's for me. As in, it hasn't been created to provide me value as a customer, fun, entertainment, not at all. It's kind of like a pet project for people who support the same politics. The Sweet Baby Inc. people, the developer, they're all friends. I think I saw Ridley Scott's name show up somewhere in one of these trailers, which is kind of weird, because it seems like a lot of money gets pumped into this. A lot of money exchanges hands. Where's that going? Who's giving it to them? Because it's not the general public. Seems like something more nefarious is going on. But it is certainly another Sweet Baby Inc. failure. It's going to keep happening. No one gives a shit about this. We know it's being done to sort of re-educate people. No other real purpose. Certainly not to improve the game industry. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.